Okay guys, so this is just a little video. It's a replay of a game I just played. I'm playing in the Jap planes. I think that they're really good because they handle really well, but obviously their speed kind of sucks. So let's get straight into it. So I'm obviously flying the KI-43. This is a really cool plane to fly. I find that it's got a decent roll rate, whereas the Zeros tend not to. So if you're in sort of sticky situations, this is a really easy way to get out of them, just by rolling away. So we're just going to go ahead and enable the labels so you can see what's what, where's where. So at the moment I haven't actually spotted anybody because my pilots don't have enough skill to detect them from a decent enough range. What I tend to do whenever I get a vehicle is I put everything in the G tolerance and in the reload speed, because I find that I have to limit how I turn and how I shoot, I guess. So at least by not worrying about those earlier on, I'm not worrying about overexerting myself by accident. So at this point I try and find where all the bombers are. Now when you're in a Japanese plane, it would be a bit of a shame just to go for the bombers. It's almost pointless having a really well turning aircraft when you're only going to be fighting bombers, which already can't turn anyway. So if you're in a Japanese plane, it's quite a good idea to go up against the fighters, just because your Spitfires, your BF-109s, the Typhoons, you know, those quick planes, you know, let them take the bombers out. At this point, I found a PBJ. So PBJ, quite a big aircraft, quite slow. So he's obviously hunting down that P-61, so I'm going to be trying to go for that guy. BF-109 just behind him, so I'm quite conscious of him. So at this point, I'm sort of just angling myself. Now what I started to do, I started to dive quite sharply, but then I leveled off because I don't want to lose too much altitude, just in case the BF-109 turned around and came back on himself. So at this point then, obviously, the PBJ one is mine. He's gone. Now we just see if we can get rid of this 109. Oh, he's already gone. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to pause it right now. So the LA5, the good thing about this type of approach, you've got obviously your ally, you've got two people approaching him. There's going to be a 50-50 of which one he's going to pick, and there's going to be also a chance that he may not know which one to pick, and he might break away. At this point, it looks like he's just breaking away. We're just going to take a look at it from his perspective. There we are. So from the position he's at now, he really can't do anything, and he's obviously getting abused by the P-61. So let's just see how it looks from his position. We'll slow this down a bit as well, just to see what happens. Okay, so that's a bit of a bad move, because what he's gone and done there, he's exposed his undercarriage. Now the undercarriage tends not to be very well armoured. It's usually the back of the plane that's the most armoured. This was probably a bad idea, because it means that he could just get shot quite critically quite easily at this point. There we go, and that was it. If he didn't roll, he probably wouldn't have had that fuselage fire straight away. And of course I've come up right behind him. And what we're just going to go ahead and do is we're going to go and just finish him off real quick. There we are, let them shots. Now, when you're in a Japanese plane, you've got the advantage where you can break away quite quickly. So, I mean, obviously with this guy, this cool dance guy, he's in a plane which really can't turn that well. So, in this moment, if we crashed, that would have sucked. But in the more nimble Japanese plane, I obviously need to use that to my advantage so we don't have any tactical fuck-ups, basically. It is quite embarrassing how long it's taken me to shoot this guy down right now. It is because I'm reloading. But what I did, even though I knew I couldn't shoot him down, I kept on his tail anyway, because I didn't want to let him turn around and be able to shoot me, because when someone has a fuselage fire, depending on the plane, they could still have anywhere between 15 and 30 seconds sometimes. You know, they still got a bit of a sting to them. There's not a lot going on here, so what I'm just going to do, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Okay, this part's quite interesting. So we've got someone shooting up behind me. Now his guns are clearly set to quite a bit of a range. I don't even know who he is. And he's quite far away. So if you can see on the map, you know, that's a bit of a distance away. I mean, it might just be that I just have shit pilots, to be honest with you, but either ways, I just latched on to the fact that he's trying to shoot me down. We'll find out which one he is. Zero Sankey. Let's take a look at you. Alright. So, he's got half a wing and a fucked up engine anyway, so I've already got the advantage. I don't know why you would, you know, I don't know what would possess you to fight a Japanese plane with a fucked up wing and a damaged engine. That's just a bad idea. It is a really bad idea. Let's see if we can see it from his perspective. I can't see it from his actual view, but I'll try and do my best to follow it as much as I can. Here we go. So obviously he's having trouble turning. He doesn't know where I am, and his vehicle's fucked. It's gone. He's dead. And I just pleasantly, you know, vanish. Happy days. Okay, so what happens here is super interesting, and it's worth a note. So you can see there's some guy coming up behind me from about my sort of, I don't even know what o'clock. From something o'clock. Anyway, all I can tell you is he's coming up behind me. So now I know I can't outrun this guy. So what I'm doing at this point, I'm just lowering myself to try and get that little bit of extra speed. And I don't know why he's just turning that much, but there we go. Yeah, so you can see now that I'm hugging this mountain. Now I'm actually relying on my sharp turning so that that mountain blocks. So there we are, straight away I've used that mountain as cover. And it's made it a bit more awkward for him, so he doesn't have a direct shot on me. And if he turns too sharply, he'll crash into that mountain. As you can see, I've already got away from him. At this point, I've pretty much already won this engagement. Let's just see how this pans out. There we are. So again, from his view, this is what he sees. Gone. I'm a ghost. So if you're in a vehicle which can turn really nimbly, get close to that geography. Be quite bold, be quite brave. A lot of the times, your enemy's just going to smash straight into it. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I'm heading towards these guys. Now, I'm really expecting an engagement with King Cobra. I was trying to climb as much as I could, and I was being quite reckless here. I was at a very, very low speed. Nowhere near enough to stall, but it was still enough that if he just reversed on himself and came down, he could probably easily have killed me. For some reason, he carried on going. You know, he's not defending anything. He doesn't have any bombs. I don't know what he was doing at this point. Don't be that guy, because all I'm doing now is I'm following him, but I'm trying to gain altitude and speed. And my plan then is to sort of go back on myself and to go for the Wellington. Again, this guy, he really should have turned around. He could have engaged me. He could have taken me down. He didn't. And I survived. So I spin around. I'm being mindful of King Cobra. I'm still looking at his red dot on my minimap, just in case he does turn. Because I know a lot of the times players will wait until you've turned, and then they'll turn thinking you've forgotten about him. Obviously, I can see he had forgotten about me anyway. I carried on going. I carried on climbing. And let's just see what happens with this Wellington. There we go. So when it comes to tail gunners and Japanese planes, it's a really bad idea to generally go up against a bomber from below. Or if any bombers have tail guns in general. And the reason for this is because your engines do not automatically seal if they get shot. Your engine gets shot, you are fucked. So you want to stay away from AAAs. You want to stay away from any of these gunners if you can. It was quite reckless of me to have done this. I thought I approached him sharp enough that the guns wouldn't hit me. But yeah. I really want to try and find the camera that I was at whilst I was actually playing this, because it was pretty interesting to see it from the player's view. But alas, I can't remember how to do it. Ah, there we go. Okay, so this is more or less what I saw. So we popped him, he's gone. Spin around, get away from those things, because even if you shoot the plane down, the player can still control the gunner, and that gunner can still screw you over. So you do a dive straight away, you do a spin, you get away out of range, and you go. You'll follow him down. So I'm just climbing again. I'm just trying to get my altitude back up. Scanning again. Well, usually at this point, if I'm a good 20 seconds from an engagement, I'll start reloading. I will also look on my map for any planes which have bombs, and I will engage them. So I saw that this Dr. Newhouse guy was heading for this base. Obviously, we don't want him to go there. There's a hurricane tailing him, but he looks like he's going to run out of ammo. I just zip in, and okay, so most of the planes at this point would sort of turn up and mash into him. Watch what happens. So we dive down, we do a loop, we level up, continue to shoot, we get out of the way of the Spitfire, we peel away. Nice little maneuver, not too bad. You can do that sort of stuff in Japanese planes really simply. We've got a P-63 coming towards us. Now I can already see he's engaging the Spitfire above me. There's also a Hurricane. Well, I say Spitfire, it looks like it's a P-40. Also a Hurricane, so I know if I engage this guy, I'm probably going to win because attention is split. Now you can normally tell because the leading circle in arcade mode will start to dip down towards you. It's not happening in this case. So I've got an exposed undercarriage. I've got the advantage, and we're just going to blow him to pieces. On. Okay, so I lock on to this DO-217 because he's generally a bomber, quite heavy. I'll always explain my intent. I will always say who I'm going to attack, even if I'm just flying towards them. If they get shot down, I'll just avert it. You know, there's so many people there. There we go, he got shot down. So now I'm just going to flip my attention straight to something else. So we've got an F6F getting abused by this Hurricane. Now what I should really have done, I should have gone around this way. I should have used that geology. I should have gone around there, dipped in, and I should have sort of followed this up. But the danger of this is the Hurricane is probably the British aircraft you need to worry about when it comes to its turn rate. They can easily keep up with the Japanese plane at low enough speeds, which it looked like this guy was at. He wasn't flying very quick. Bit of a risky move at an IAS of 354, but, you know, we dipped the nose down and we saw we could do anyway. Okay, there we are. Like a ghost, straight in, straight up, gone. And he's just left there to bash into that mountain. Again, I'm just using the geography to my advantage. Breaking away from that guy. We've got an... whatever the fuck that is. So, check this maneuver out. It's a really cool one. I'll show you how to do it. It always works for me to peel away. At this point, I lose him. There's too many of them, so I think my number's up at this time. So all I want to do, I just want to try and get rid of as many of them as I can, or at least damage them as much as I can. There we are. So he's gone. And I'm gone too. But not before I get a 7 times streak, which I'm happy with. Lovely flaming puddle of crap on the ground. Okay. So we've brought out the KI-44I. This one has got slightly weaker guns, I think, than the last one has. Picked this one because I like the speed of it. Again, it's quite nimble. Very good lift. Don't want to be using this plane if you're going to need to take any runways, that's for damn sure, because it will not be very fun. So gaining altitude straight away first of all. Again, whilst I gain the altitude, I try and work out which of these guys has the bombs. And then I try and plan which one I could go for if there's not one abusing any of my teammates. So I'm sort of focused on this P-47 right now. Realize he gets shot down. I flip straight up and I'm aiming for Dersey, which is the SM-79. That is purely because he's got the bomb. So what I'm trying to do now, the reason I've turned away is because I want to gain altitude without making it obvious what my intent is. If you mask your intent, then it's going to make it a lot harder for the enemies to know what you're doing and to know whether or not to focus on you. Now it just so happens that there's a Spitfire very, very nearby who seems to be trained on this guy. So I'm probably going to use this to my advantage. Fly over him. There he is. So the SM-79 is very, very close. So again, we're just going to decimate this guy ideally. So attacking from a side on because the profile's bigger. Don't really want to be attacking from the back, but I've got no choice. Again, that's generally where the armor is. Just going to follow him down. Short bursts. Okay, I wouldn't usually recommend this. If you were in a plane which is going any faster, you'd probably have mashed straight into his rear end, which is great if it's your wife, but this isn't my wife. I don't want to be inside this guy's rear end, so you can see how this works out. So I undershoot it. I do a bit of a roll. I do a loop. I level up. I continue to shoot. I'm gone. I narrowly avoid my mate's sort of bullet trail there. Very reckless of me. And then I just peel away. You know, that could easily have ended up in disaster, but didn't. That's fine. Gaining a little bit of altitude again. It's always good to gain altitude when you're outside of combat, because altitude equals generally got more energy, you're in a bit of a better position to win. And that is the end of the mission. I think at this one I ended up getting the Terror Skies also, which is quite nice.